Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's AMA with us, the DeFi Kingdoms team. As always, it's lovely to be here and see all of you fine folks. Excited to be getting started, and as our latest tradition dictates, we will start off with catching up with everybody. Hubert, how are you doing today?
Hey, Bolin. I'm doing pretty good. It's getting pretty close to my son's second birthday, so we're getting pretty excited about that. Yeah, not too much to report at the moment. We're getting into springtime now, so I'm also looking at my yard and realizing that there's a bunch of weeds that need to be dealt with, and worry about my grass and all those other things. So pretty normal, like old person stuff. I'm old.
Yeah, I gotta get my sprinkler system fixed so that my grass isn't just constantly dead.
Yeah, I have my parking strip part of my yard especially has had sprinkler issues for years, and I hate it. I hate everything.
Yeah, mine are on a shallow well that's only my sprinkler system, and the well has just been a nightmare since I bought this house, and I just keep having to fix it over and over and over again. It's really annoying. And not cheap. But also, I ran them on city water once and went, "Holy crap! No, I'll fix the well." Oh my god! Talk about
Yeah, man, having a well on your property out here is some wealthy people type shit.
Yeah, not in Florida because you only have to.
Yeah, water's like 10 feet underground no matter where you are, right?
It
It's
ain't even 10
pretty
feet.
much just right there all the time.
Yeah, it's not even 10 feet, especially for like a shallow irrigation well, like what I have for the sprinkler system. It's nothing. And then even deep wells, just they're not that deep. So
yeah, we have a lot of sand where we're at, so like the only wells that we have that would work are like extremely deep aquifer wells that support like a whole town worth of people, which is actually what I'm on right now. But
nice.
Yeah, there's that artesian one downtown, right? That's all fancy. Get some delicious free water there.
Anything's fancy if you put the word artesian in front of it.
Exactly. I'm not even sure. It's like what? So maybe I'm using this word wrong, but why is that there?
A lot of the bottled water in the U.S. comes from Florida because we're drowning at all times. One last question, Hubert, before I move on. But do you know yet what the theme for your son's second birthday party is going to be?
I'd say dinosaurs and cars is kind of where we're going.
Was that and or in?
And both actually. We got the Hot Wheels theme going on, and there's these like dinosaur Hot Wheel toys that I got, and also my sister got. So he's just gonna have. There's gonna be so many toys in this house. There already are too many toys. I don't know what to do.
Don't worry, they'll only continue to be more and more and more.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there hasn't been a Fast and Furious movie where they go back to the Jurassic era yet, but I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah, there's a joke here about I'm trying to wordsmith it here, but it's like the perfect example of when you don't stay in your lane is Hot Wheels merging with dinosaurs. And the joke is, don't stay in your lane, Hot Wheels, like they're two things that are part of the same thing, so it's funny.
I like it.
Thanks, Bolana.
Anytime. I'm here for you. How are you doing today, Winston? How's things? Also, what are we watching?
I am pretty good too. We are watching an off-season tournament today because we got daylight savings. All of our tournaments went skiwampus because they're all UTC, and UTC doesn't daylight savings. Lucky bastards. They're not, those. I'm jealous of their skills, dude. They're lucky. I wish that I didn't have to daylight savings myself personally. Dreamer, do they daylight savings out there in Hawaii? You guys probably have to deal with that shit, right?
No, they don't. Daylight savings. So all the
they waste it. They waste
an hour essentially. So if I had a 7 a.m. meeting, it's a 6 a.m. meeting. If I had 6 a.m. meeting, it's a 5 a.m. meeting.
Yeah,
That's
I'll just
the worst thing I ever heard.
interrupt right now to say that daylight savings time has absolutely ruined our sleep schedule with
Oh,
our
no.
kid. It's been so hard. I hate everything right now. Anyway,
Yeah.
please continue.
Daylight
Thank
savings sucks.
I
live
think
in a state that was actually
unanimously,
government
everyone
to
hates
get
daylight
rid of
savings
it.
time. Without
Yeah.
a doubt.
I agree. Florida voted to get rid of it, but the federal government won't let us. It's one of the
That's
few
too bad.
things that Florida did that I'm actually proud of. And then it didn't work.
That's unfortunate, man. I don't know why they're holding on to it so tightly. It's a bizarre thing. But anyway, today we're watching an off season, and this is a Spassvogel and Hope level up and just have fun. We've also got on the other screen is going to be, hopefully it should be all caught up. The other screen is a B-Boy, a Nomad, and Dragonfly Tales. So they're working it out. We've got 6 people in this tournament and pretty good sponsor rewards. I just increased them and added some medicine stuff. So there's more sponsors. Did I turn my camera on? I did. Okay.
Yeah.
I should probably be a little more aware of that, right? But yeah, things are good around here. Just like Huber, I'm a little stuffed up too. I get allergies a little bit this first time of the year. There's lots of trees and things around here. So breathing those in and not loving it. But aside from that, things are pretty good. Like the spring has sprung, which means we'll probably get snow 4 or 5 more times before the end of the season. And yeah, I don't know. Pretty mild winter. I can't complain about it. Oh, you know what? The other thing I was going to talk about. So I've been working on this leaderboard system for the last little while. And for a bit, I just had like wins, but I've actually graduated to the next level. We're doing league points now. Can you guys see that? Is it showing?
Yes.
Perfect. We're doing league points now. So for every tournament win, you get 3 points. Second place, you get 2. Third place, you get 1. And fourth place, you get half a point. A bunch of information here, a bunch of cool stuff. This is still kind of in beta, so I don't know that I'll be actually paying out rewards on it this month because I'm probably going to mess it up, would be my guess, and have to fix a bunch of things and get it right. But yeah, this is just kind of a step in a fun direction for tournaments. There'll be more payouts. The learn more button talks about it a little bit more up here. You can read about that stuff there. So make sure to go over there and check that out. And hopefully we see you on there. I don't know if you saw that, but the hope is to pay out lots of places. So first, second, third, obviously, and then 4th through 10th, and then 11th through 20th place. So if you show up and you play, also there'll be like a minimum, like if you hit a minimum threshold of points, like 30 points or something, you'll get a reward for that too. So totally worth playing. This is not to replace the weekly. This is going to be in addition to it. So keep that in mind as you're setting expectations on what those rewards might look like. So that's I think it's pinned in Discord, or you can just ask me and I'll send it to you or something. But let's get back to the battle, and yeah, I'll fire it back over to you, Bolon. Thanks for
quick question. So do you mean only the tournaments that you are hosting are included on that, or also the
No, sir. That's
off-season are
all of
included
them.
as well?
Yeah, all of them are included. Whoops, a daisy.
Nice.
See all that. But no, this is so these points are 32 played, includes starting from this block, and it's just a level 10 or a level 20, and it keeps track of that. And it actually doesn't really care on this board if it's a level 10 or a level 20.
I'll say I'm pretty impressed with what you're doing there, Winston. It's cool stuff.
Thanks. Yeah, it's the vibe coding. Don't thank me. Thank the servers that are belching out tons and tons of fumes into the air and drinking all of our water up. So that's what we get for it.
At
I've tried
least
to
your
do something
vibes are
useful.
making this whole league system, though, right? Like, yeah,
That's what I'm saying. I didn't do like cat
I
pictures.
do
or
begrudge
something.
all the code being written by computers, but yes.
Yeah. What can you do? But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for me. If you guys have questions about that thing or how that's going to work in the future, you can put them in the AMA or channel, or just ask if you want to. I'll just answer them.
Nice. Last but not least, Dreamer, other than it being an hour earlier than normal, how are you doing today?
Hello. I'm doing okay. It's cold here. Got a big storm coming through. Got some tea, ready for the AMA. That's how I'm doing. Stormy cold.
Nice. All right. With that, let's get into some questions. The first question goes to Hubert, and it actually comes from chat. Have you gotten to step on a Lego yet?
Yeah, we do have like those Lego Duplos already, the bigger Legos. And I think I've stepped on at least one of those. I've stepped on a few different things, but I'm also pretty good on my feet, so like I react pretty quick to things I step on. But yes, it's going to be more of a minefield as we go forward.
Nothing hurts quite like a Lego. Next question for you. Any thoughts on questing one day being more like hero staking on Metis, kind of like expeditions, but even more passive / idle, ideally in a way that doesn't take a lot of chain space?
I'd say that ideally I would like to see some changes to profession questing to be somewhat along those lines, but not exactly. With the progression of the game getting to a point where we have like a traversable map where you might need to go to a specific place on the map to do some profession questing or to gather specific things. I think the current setup with stamina and using 5 stamina per attempt with fishing and foraging, and then the kind of more slower pace of gardening and mining, like that does tend to take up a lot of people's time, and it did lead to like to be as optimal as possible, either using expeditions or external botting services, or just like being available at kind of random times every day. Like that kind of situation, I think it, at the time it was an interesting setup, and we wanted to kind of encourage people to come back to the game over and over. But overall, I think we could do better than that. So I would like to see something that's a little bit more simple to deal with, and not require coming back multiple times during the day to like deal with it. But I also don't think it would be as simplified as just staking heroes either, because ultimately to get to the next stage, I really do feel like travel is kind of the next really big thing that's going to be fundamental to the game, and I would like a system that is kind of built around that if we were to change things.
Nice. Actually switching over to Dreamer for a moment. Dreamer, with the changes that we made to the chain last week, one of those was increasing the minimum gas for a transaction, with there being 2 reasons for increasing that, one of which was increasing revenue coming in from gas fees. Would it be safe to assume that the team will be selling Jewel to sustain dev / chain costs?
Good question. So yeah, we're making adjustments, and we're still kind of seeing as we make adjustments what the effects of those adjustments are, and anything else that we need to or should be doing. With cost coming down, and in this example, at least from a perspective, increase in Jewel coming in like per transaction, all else equal, it would be potentially used to cover cost of the chain or other things in the game. We've always been really careful with the ecosystem and the tokens that we receive as people are like using it. I think many players don't think about like how we monetize. Even in the game, when we get game tokens or Jewel come in, we have to sell that before it could even go to any like real form of costs. There's 2 costs listed here, dev costs and like just overhead, I'll put it. I think for sure Jewel coming in to support overhead of the chain to keep it on as we're navigating this time. Yeah, possibility. Nobody has been turned on for like dev based paid work for a while now. It's all been contribution from the team out of their own time. And so, yeah, I think if that question is asking 2 different buckets, it would be At this point, there is no plan to be selling Jewel to pay devs. Jewel is coming in a chain that costs a lot of money, and we're trying to navigate how we make sure it's a safe chain where assets are safe there. If that requires to sell some Jewel to contribute to that, that is totally fair game. Bolon, anything to add or adjust there?
Nope, I think you summed it up very nicely. All right, let's see. Switching back to Hubert here. So this was a lengthy dissertation that had an additional dissertation added to it. So I'm going to kind of sum it up here, but Hubert has read the whole thing, but it's pretty long. So I'm going to kind of summarize it a little bit.
Super duper quick. Sorry. Before you dive into a long, because I know you guys are going to talk for a few minutes about this one. Both of those rounds just ended. You should be able to. Oh, you can't see it, can you? You should be able to vote on both of those now. So get in there. I'm going to sponsor them up. So go right now. Hurry up. Don't wait.
Very nice. Yep. 6.5 minutes to get in there and vote. We'll see if this question and answer takes the full 6.5 minutes. But it's really around hero progression and experience, how we set experience numbers and look at that in like hero growth and the amount of time that it takes to level up a hero. So Hubert, I'm going to hand it to you.
Okay. The original question was a lot more words than that. So I mean, with this game, with the assets, your heroes, everything in the game being something that is tradable, it kind of resulted in us having a different mindset for like how do we want to try to create a value system within this, and one thing in my mind has always been that for a hero to hold value, it needs to be hard for you to progress them. A hero that's made it to level 20 had a lot of effort put into it, whether it be by doing hunts for a very long time or doing a lot of stamina potion grinding. But there was a lot of effort put into that, and I think that effort is reflected in the marketplace. If we made it so easy to level up that it wouldn't take you too long to go from level 1 to level 20, then I think that whole value proposition just kind of collapses. Now there probably is some room to move a little bit more in the direction of getting more XP within what content is available right now, but I still think that there should be, if you play the game, you get your characters up high level, and for whatever reason you want to sell a hero, like it should be that you can have that effort that you put into it be reflected in the price, and that would kind of go away if we just made it really easy to level up. So I'm open to adjustments, especially right now since we just turned off profession questing. It's now become harder to level up heroes, especially passively. So I think there's some things we could do in the short term for making things a little bit easier, but I don't think. I think what was suggested in that message was like a 10x increase of XP from hunts and from patrols, and I think that's probably a bit too high. But yeah, I am open to making some adjustments, especially right now, for that.
Nice. There's one piece that I wanted to touch on a little bit and then see if you had anything that you wanted to add to it. But it was asking what options we've considered to make combat hero development more accessible. And honestly, it made me think of, kind of the like overall plan for questing, like long term, where all of the quests aren't just located in the capital city of a realm. Like you have to actually go out and quest, and that may involve danger as well. So it really ties combat and questing together in some ways, where you might have fights along the way to get to where you're going, or you might have to fight to get the resources themselves. But I was just curious if you had any additional thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think I've kind of talked about this at some point in different either AMAs or in interviews with some community members, where I think ideally like the next phase and kind of closer to like the final phase of where I would see DFK go would be like you said, you need to travel to places to get certain resources to fight specific things. I would really like to see a world where there are regions on the map that are under attack by enemies of some kind. Like there's a goblin invasion over here, and until that invasion is taken care of, you can't access anything that's in that region. Then if it's like an invasion, then it'd be something where maybe one person wouldn't be enough, or you'd take many players to come and help, fight off the army, or, not enough people come do it. And then the place becomes kind of ravaged and it takes effort to like restore the land kind of thing. Something where, there's kind of an active live map, things happening, something happens to unlock a void hunt, and there's a specific void hunt monster out over in the corner over there. He only showed up because somebody did something, and now everyone has access to it. Having it also be something where you need to do some degree of combat to like make a place safe. I already kind of said that, but not necessarily with just like an invasion type of mechanic, but just in general. Maybe you have to like actually find a fishing hole, but to get to that fishing hole, it's guarded by a bunch of wolves or whatever. And you defeat those wolves, and now this fishing hole is open for 24 hours, and you can bring all your fishers there to fish in it, and something like that. That is kind of the style of gameplay I'd like to see us get to. And that kind of marries needing to have combat heroes while you could still also have gathering heroes that are just focused on gathering, that you use kind of as like the vanguard of your travel team to like come and pick up all the pieces after you've made it safe for a gathering situation. So I think that would be a really fun experience, and definitely an improvement over what we have right now, but we need to get there for that to be a thing. But that's really where I'd like to see the game get to.
Nice. Any thoughts on removing hunt limits during the period of no questing?
Sorry, could you say that again? I was reading chat stuff.
Any thoughts on removing hunts limits during the period of no questing?
Unfortunately, that's not a simple amount of work to do. I don't know that I'd want to just completely remove them anyway, but I am open to making it so that it's not just once per day. But I think at the moment that's probably a bigger lift than we're willing to handle at the moment, just because right now our front end is kind of built around like the way we set up the contracts. We're really like, has it been done or has it not been done by this hero yet, instead of like how many times has it been done, which it sounds like a subtle change, but the front end is not set up around how many times or have any limits kind of built in like that. But I think it may be nice to be able to add a system at some point, hopefully in the nearish future, to use stamina potions, and maybe you can do it maybe a certain number of times per day per hero, to like refresh your ability to do it. Since currently, stamina potions don't have as much of a use case at the moment. I think that's kind of more along the lines where I'd like to go with that, at least for right now. But yeah, I think first off, what we can probably pull off a lot more quickly would be just some boost to XP.
Nice. Let's see. I realized that I skipped over our update because I did. So I'm going to pause questions real quick. Dreamer, I know we gave a more in-depth project update last week, but any overall update that you would like to share with us? Also, my bad on timing.
Overall, like update from stuff last week?
Yeah. Yeah, so
what we went over last week, was was hinting to discussions of migration, cost reduction, and potentially a deal coupled with that. Also went over the results of Retro 9000 that were a surprise to us and many others. But that decision was linked to a potential of deeper collaboration and potentially, on C Chain. So we've been talking about that for a 2 weeks now, I think. And the last week, we sent them a lot. We put a lot together in terms of our plan of what we could consider. And nothing material yet in terms of decisions, but really would like to not let this go too long without getting towards a direction that we feel comfortable and confident in. So yeah, that's the update this week. I really hope for a better and more material update next week from what we shared last week. Does that cover it, Bolan?
I was muted. Sorry. Yes, I believe it does. I thank you for giving us some updates on that front.
And for more details, like we have meetings even today, right after the AMA. We have like our monthly meeting and then one additional meeting set up. And what we sent over after the AMA last week was a fair amount to digest. So we expected some time, but we just don't want too much time. So we're pushing hard to see what options are out there and try to see the best ones rise to the top for next steps, and are doing our best to represent the community and the project to not only stay alive, but to come out better than we went in, as we've done with most of our deals and like forks in the road in the past. So more to come.
Nice. This next question, actually, I'm going to speak about. I'd like to better understand what features the team is currently working on and what new priorities have emerged since the pause on questing, and just like how we're moving towards the a return to the full game experience, including questing. So that's really, to Dreamer's point, where the consolidation comes in. So we've talked before about Ragnarok being our next like big thing, but outside of that, questing was paused as part of a like cost savings measure in order to figure out what those next steps look like. So we are working on progressing that and making it a reality, hopefully, so that we can continue building out the game, have some form of questing back, et cetera, et cetera. The second part of the question is interested in understanding whether any parts of the DFK stack are shifting off chain to help reduce costs. So moving things off chain actually doesn't necessarily reduce costs. Like it can, but if we use questing as an example, right? If questing is on chain, there's a cost for the storage on the chain and the growth of the chain. If questing is off chain, we still have to have servers to host all of that and to process all of the information and everything, and then also to like report back to the chain to mint items and everything. So even if we were to move the system itself off chain, it doesn't necessarily save costs. There's some instances where it could. There's some instances where it actually might be more expensive than having it on chain. The easiest example to use currently is our combat engine. Our combat engine is already off chain. That is still an expense. So it has to live somewhere, one way or another. We have to pay for something one way or another. But it's more so the like running of the chain that I would say is the like additional cost side that we're seeing currently. Hubert, did all of that make sense, and was all of it correct?
I think so. I was also reading the chat at the time, so I might have missed some of the points you said, but it sounded mostly right. Sorry.
All right, cool. I'll take it. Mostly right is what I aim for.
Hold on, I'll just interrupt you too. My YouTube won't connect to StreamYard. I don't know why. So I'm just gonna respond to a comment before you go on to the next question.
Yeah.
Hey Zealous. It's actually been a while since we've caught up, so I might go and try to DM you here in a second. We can catch up since it's been a bit. And I think you submitted a question too that I was like interested to catch up with you on. but I can't respond to anything in chat. So if you at me, I'm probably going to just respond here. But yeah, we can catch up live. Definitely don't want to disrupt what's going on. And I think there's a lot of moving pieces, not only on our side, but on the Avalanche side. They do a lot to support DFK Chain. It's not very like public, but I think since the beginning, we get a lot of treatment behind the scenes. And so, yeah, any presence on C Chain, we want to make sure that we're uniform as a group. And so launching things like unexpectedly could distract from that. So, yeah, I think we should definitely stay synced with the community. And maybe we don't go that direction. I'm not sure. But it seems to make sense to all parties involved so far. We just need to make sure we get the right plan to benefit you guys and the overall direction there.
Nice. Yeah, for sure. Also, sorry your YouTube isn't connecting. Chat's fun.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like the last 3 weeks, I even went in and changed my password and everything, and it's still just like problem on YouTube. So if there's like a YouTube setting that is supposed to be enabled that has somehow been disabled and people know, let me know. But like ChatGPT doesn't know either. So I'm just I'm shadow banned from StreamYard chat. I'm sorry.
It's probably a StreamYard problem also. Hubert, if questing for heroes weren't to come back, what would happen to all the pets and the heroes gathering professions and the pets gathering bonuses?
I mean, I would say that there is not a plan for it to not come back. So it's kind of a question that's super hypothetical. So I would like, a plan is for it to come back in some form. Might not be exactly the same form, but yeah, profession questing is part of the game and I'd like to keep it that way.
Nice. How did Winston become so great? A lot of Taco Bell and some jazz hands. Sometimes jazz hands while eating Taco Bell, which is an impressive accomplishment.
Yeah, you got to use one hand at a time.
You can't jazz hand one-handed. You got to full commit.
You can.
Fling that taco all over the place.
Who do you think knows more about it?
That's fair. Dreamer, I actually have a couple more questions for you. Any insight you can give on roughly what the monthly cost to run the chain before questing was paused was?
Before it was paused, I think most recent months was ranging from like 5,000 to 6,000 to run the chain. That's just validators. That's not even all the cost that goes into all the other things, or even like game servers or anything like that. With the adjustment, we won't know how much savings was actually realized until we go through a period. We're expecting at least like 50% reduction, maybe even more. I think as was noted here, questing made up a good volume of what was happening on chain. But that jewel wasn't being monetized to support it, right? So even if it was making up a lot of it, in order to have it support the cost, it would require selling of those tokens coming in. So I think a better option is definitely to reduce it during this time when we're kind of looking for the right direction of consolidation, cost savings, where will be a better place to build during the bear market, and also a better experience for new and returning players to come. Maybe have some reduced barriers to entry and everything. So yeah, I think I started rambling a bit, but that's the cost, the most recent cost that we had, the hopeful reduction in cost during this time from that measure, but we really don't know until we get a bill.
Yep. And that's one piece of other costs as well. Which real quick, I just want to respond to a question in chat and I'm going to go back to you, Dreamer, for another question, but was hoping for a window where people could withdraw Lock Jewel without penalty for those that had Lock Jewel to access power-ups or to access features like expeditions and questing power-ups. Any thoughts on like having a period where people can withdraw penalty free? I think it's something that, we could end up considering. I think it just depends on what the plan ends up being. So we're in that kind of in between right now where we're figuring out exactly what those next steps are. So, if hypothetically we were, staying on DFK chain and turning questing back on, there's no reason to do that. If we're, consolidating and migrating, we're going to turn those off for everybody so that they can get their assets. So, as we figure out those next steps, I think there'll be more updates on that. Back to you, Dreamer. So, the overall question is just asking about long-term sustainability and profitability of the protocol, and how we're looking to get there. We've talked about, working on cost reductions. Are we giving any focus to increasing in-game revenue sources as well?
I think right now we're using the bear market, which there's a silver lining. When it comes to these bear markets, although this one is particularly volatile and unpredictable and unclear if we are even in a true bear or bull or whatever market this is. But over 4.5 years of building, where we were building brick by brick, sometimes without the full blueprint, even before us, that blueprint would be one that would change over time, given the needs, given the resources, and given what we even thought was possible. Because a lot of this journey has been one of innovation and less like copying others. So with that 4.5 years of like brick by brick, I think there's a lot of benefit to a consolidation, not only in like cost reduction and everything, but whether you use the word tech debt or others, the first step to be getting closer to like profitability and growth is to clean up what we have. And as we are shifting from oh man, at one point we all thought all these chains are popping up, they're all going to have different purposes, all of them are going to succeed and not compete with each other or compete with Bitcoin or others in the way that we've seen it, and maybe some will die out. I think at that time we're like, oh cool, let's be on all these chains, connect all the communities, gamify it, make the new user come in and have a beautiful interface to operate in kind of a not so beautiful tech world. Well, we're seeing chains not follow through on a lot of things, despite being very, very, very well funded, the best funded out of everything with the lowest cost to run, relative to many other protocols that have come. Maybe instead we should find very strong partners, a chain to live on, and expand more of the games, the incredible game play and game system that we have. That is a huge step forward to the ultimate goal of sustainability and profitability, because so much time and resources are spent supporting different chains, different features on different fronts. As we kind of retreat to our area of strength and can build from there, we then can go vertical in ways that maybe we couldn't before. So that's step one. Step two, other ways to monetize. As mentioned, if they're all game token monetization, it still requires us to sell them to truly monetize it. So we'll keep that in mind. At times we've done Vizzies for stables, or have done a deal where like a sponsor was providing X amount to those minting the Vizzies, but we received the proceeds, and that was a unique like innovation on our side, because if we received stables, we didn't have to sell off tokens to monetize it. But at this point, even if we were to say, all right, every cost in the game is up 3x, again, we still have to go and sell everything. So I'm not sure for the user if that would immediately mean everything stays the same and we get 3 times more tokens in, or if that means, oh, now I'm just going to do a third less stuff. So what's a much better plan is we need to get a path to actually grow players. And the number one problem that has been identified through the many efforts over the last 2 years with many awesome partners through Avalanche and YGG and Metis and everything is just people come in, they're like, wow, this is incredible. It's impressive. The game is really cool and complex, but there's so much for me there's too many barriers to entry. It's too complicated. And so at one point or another, we saw people fall out despite being impressed and interested in everything. We got to improve that. As that gets easier to onboard, understand, learn the battle system. And for many players who are less interested on the DeFi side, not have that be such a firm requirement, key Ragnarok, which meets a lot of those needs. I think that is the other path to new revenue streams. Being a new revenue stream could be similar streams that are more efficient, less costly, and easier to scale. So long answer to your question, but at this point, we're not saying, oh no, we have to make it profitable. Let's just make all the same players pay 10 times more for the same stuff. No, I don't think that would really get us there. Vizzies, I think, would be good, but Vizzies cost a lot to do because we don't want to do low quality stuff either. So that's not like the end all be all of like, we can't just charge, 10,000 a month Vizzies going forward to keep this all afloat as well. So I think that would eventually kind of burn out everybody on the buying and receiving side. So that's just thinking out loud a little bit, but I do believe if we can successfully consolidate, refactor, and optimize what we have while surviving, then the incremental builds, whether they're classes, a Ragnarok equivalent, or other features like a reformatted questing into travel, which I think is a huge undertaking, which would be way down the road. These things now are adding on to a much more stable foundation to grow and attract users to stay. Many users in the space as well, in my network, as I paid attention, a lot of the crypto gamers, they're not even active anymore. So during this quiet time, we're trying to do our best so that when that focus comes back, the feedback we got at the last cycle, which was, wow, cool game, wow, complicated, wow, very innovative, but for one reason or another, people were fatigued to the point of getting to like our end game sticky hardcore fan base, and that needs to be improved.
Awesome. Hell yeah. I'm feeling bullish. Hubert, switching back to you for a second. Any thoughts on having the Blubs demo combat be able to give XP for lower level heroes?
I mean, that would be a pretty big effort to do since it's not really set up in a way where it uses contracts or like submits heroes, and the combat itself, like those blubs were kind of set up to be punching bags to test out how your different skills work. I think it'd be much easier for us to just increase the XP in patrols than doing that. So I think we'd probably go that direction instead.
Nice. Which, yeah, I think you guys might underestimate how grindy that would be. Those blubs are set up to be able to take a lot of punches. Winston, question for you. When is Winston opening his dojo, and how can I get a membership?
Well, I mean, it's not 24-hour fitness or, something like that. There'll be invitations sent out to people, and it's looking like it's probably a 2027 kind of a thing. So
nice.
Get ready for that. Invitations. Bolon, don't bother. Don't look in your mailbox, dude.
I am not in fighting shape.
We could get you there, but it's not worth it to me.
It's not worth it to me either, to be honest, clearly, because I'm not doing it. I really need to, though. I need to get back in some form of shape other than round. Dreamer, question for you. Any thoughts on how politics and government decisions can impact the citizens of those countries' approach to DeFi kingdoms?
Oh, wait. Citizen. So I thought this question was different. How does it impact the citizens of those countries that have... Wait, sorry. Can you repeat it again?
Yeah. So the impact of politics and how it results in people approaching DeFi kingdoms, like how it impacts that. So, if you're in the US, how that government impacts the approach to DeFi kingdoms. And if you're in other countries, I guess those as well.
That's a question that I think is impossible to answer, but I will say the events that are happening around the world aren't making it easy to have a predictable, stable financial market anywhere, whether you're in crypto or the major markets or anything else. And that does impact our players or potential players for sure, because this is an on-chain game where there's on-chain spend and there are prices that result from supply and demand. And when demand goes down because people are paying attention to what's going on in the world, or supply is impacted by other decisions made by chains or other things, impacts players. But yeah, I can't start to speculate how it impacts them differently depending on where you are. I can just say, and what a time we live in. I hope everybody's staying safe and focused. And it is quite, in my opinion, unfortunate to wake up to so many things that are distracting us from building and progressing as a group, an industry, and more. But I do hope that they're resolved and that we are able to have fun and create good games and connect them to good tech. So kind of a political answer there, but I think it was a little bit of a trap anyway. I'm not going to get up here and be like, all right, everybody, let's go around the room. Who'd you vote for and why? Like, I don't know if that's what we're trying to do.
I'm going to say that's not what we're starting to do, what we're trying to do. Let's see. Winston, the community has somewhat decided for you, but I'm not sure that I agree with their decision making here. How many Bolons do you think you could fight at one time, and how many Huberts?
I mean, fight at the same time, like infinity. Like I could fight infinity Bolons. I don't know that I could defeat infinity Bolons, but I could fight infinity Bolons for probably a few minutes would be my guess. They just keep charging at me and getting lost and confused or whatever, and just dodging them. Huberts though, I don't know. Hubert's kind of like he's enormous, right? He's like 6.5 feet tall or something, and it's all folded up when you see him, and then he unfolds, and it's like fighting a giant spider. Or I don't know. Probably one Hubert is the best I could do, I think. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I definitely think Hubert's the more intimidating opponent. Like he's got the height and the reach. I'm just out of shape.
Man, I sit down so much of my life. I have like no muscles. and yeah, the folding comment. I do slouch way too much. My back is probably not happy about it.
I think you could do the thing that like you do to kids where you just like put your palm on Winston's forehead.
I do have a lot of experience doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think the size difference just might be overwhelming. I would probably fight dirty. I'd bring a weapon or something.
Hubert, one last question. Where does a new combat class fall on the priority list?
I would say just after Ragnarok. Which that kind of falls behind the consolidation efforts we're making right now.
Nice. All right. So, and then our final question, Dreamer already addressed. So we are in good shape. We can go into our wrap up actually, but before we do that, Winston, it looked like this fight. Oh no! Did it just start?
Yeah, it has just begun.
I was trying to read the timers, but I couldn't make them out. So is this the final?
This is the final. We got a bunch of votes, and even though there was only like 2 or 3 minutes to vote, it looks like we got like let's see. Yeah, like 26,000 or 26 million, excuse me. 26,000 is not that many votes. Like 26 million votes. So pretty exciting. People chopping up some Jewel and some Metis.
Nice. Winston, question from chat. What new Taco Bell menu item are you looking forward the most? Did you know that they released 20 new menu items?
Yeah, I heard that they did a Live Moss live event. I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know. I'd have to take a look at it. But I will look at it. We've got people looking at it. We'll look at it. I will say my discovery this year, the number one thing that I've kind of found from Taco Bell this year is they have this rice and bean and cheese burrito that's like $2 or something, and you can add a bunch of stuff to it. It's really good, yeah, and you can add a bunch of stuff to it for 50 cents or $1 more, and so you can end up making whatever your favorite taco is, but also there's like rice and beans and cheese and all that shit in it too. So that's where I've been going really hard lately. It's delightful and it's cheap, and I'm telling you, it's like I may have mentioned this before, but like eating more than 2 of them I can't do it. I get to the halfway through the third one and I'm like, oh, this was a mistake. This was a mistake.
The best kind of mistake.
Yeah, sure. It's a mistake you want to make. It's a nice problem to have, right? You know?
Yep.
So T Heat, I'll have to take a look at that live event on Peacock. Yeah, I haven't watched it. I'll have to put it on. Sounds extremely interesting.
Not that anybody asked, but the Mexican pizza empanadas are the one that I'm most excited for.
Oh, and that's these are new items on the Live Moss menu.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They have like a sweet empanadas or something, right?
They also have some sweet empanadas. They also have like I think it's a strawberry and cream Mexican pizza bite that looks quite interesting. Yeah, some of the desserts look pretty interesting. The Mexican pizza empanadas sound real good. So definitely interested in that.
Sounds like they're just taking two winners and just like, here's a couple of winners, and there's like, boom.
The most disappointing thing is that I'm going to have to buy another pie because now they're doing a Baja Blast Midnight pie. And like Baja Blast Midnight isn't as good as Baja Blast, and the Baja Blast pie was not very good. But also, I feel like I have to like try it. I feel like I'm obligated, you know. Although I do think that mentality has resulted in the creation of this abomination. There were so many people that were so curious about the Baja Blast pie that they thought it was successful, because I've never seen anyone say it was good.
Yeah, I kind of feel like when these days, like bands, when they book tours, they never book the whole thing. They book like 3/4 of it, and then they're kind of like, if things are going well, we'll make some deals and get the other quarter booked and shit. And I think this is the same kind of thing, except that maybe their research was wrong, or they did the cross section of people they talked to was not big enough, or because it's just a terrible idea. It's a terrible idea.
Bad market research.
Yeah, somebody effed up there. Or maybe they're just, here's what it is. They were just so cheap to make. The pies are like, dude, these things cost us 8 cents.
Yeah.
8 cents to make one of these.
$20.
That's probably what it is.
You can only buy it by the whole pie. You can't buy a slice.
Yeah, and they are non-biodegradable, so it's like there's a whole warehouse full of them, and they're never ever gonna like disappear naturally.
I mean, I can tell you that like in whatever landfill the ones that I had bought ended up in, those ants have diabetes.
Yeah, well, maybe we could use it for that, like just controlling animal populations.
I'll sprinkle some in my backyard and kill off all the ants.
Yeah, give all like the raccoons and I don't know. What do you guys have out there? Some kind of monkey or something?
We have all of the above. We actually do have monkeys with herpes.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that is a thing.
Like, so how did you guys give monkeys herpes, Bolon?
Don't know, don't want to know.
That's how outbreaks start, dude. That's how you get, Last of Us. Can you imagine?
Ask questions.
28 days later.
Some kind of crazy herpes that just, dude, I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Well, I'll switch topics, actually. There was a question in chat, which I apologize. I said something in chat about it earlier, but I didn't follow up on a live comment. But any Synapse bridging comments? So we have been in touch with Synapse. They've said that they're expecting it to be resolved shortly. It is not just DFK Chain. They're doing contract upgrades, and apparently it is pretty widespread to their contracts that they're doing these upgrades. Unfortunately, we did not know in advance, which I did mention in chat. Like, they might have blasted something out on socials that we missed. So I'm not going to say that they didn't tell anybody. I do know that they did not tell us directly, but they have a lot of partners. So, so unfortunate that it happened. I was much more concerned when I thought it was just DFK Chain. It is not. It is, part of a maintenance project of theirs. We are, trying to keep on top of it and keep following up with them to get updates, but it does sound like it should be resolved in the near future. I think I had seen a mention of that they were expecting it to be done by end of week at one point. So yeah, definitely unfortunate and apologies. But yeah, had we known, we would have mentioned it. Unfortunately, we did not. And then we were trying to get updates from them.
Yeah, another thing I wanted to just to throw on the back of this from Bolon. So if you had funds that were bridged and got stuck before they paused it, those should have been delivered. I reported it to them on like Thursday or Friday last week because I had bridged some funds and they were stuck, and I have received those. So I also saw in the chat 2 or 3 in Discord, 2 or 3 of the people were saying, "Hey, it's fixed," and we had to kind of like cool it. You got to chill out. You can't just scream the bridge is fixed like that. That's like shouting bomb on a plane, or you might have like 5 or 6 of those, and they get progressively worse. So I'm not gonna. A bomb on a plane is where I'm gonna stop. Yeah. So you should, if you bridged some funds and they were stuck, you should have them back now at the location you bridged them to.
Very nice. And yeah, once everything's resolved, obviously, if anything is still stuck or gets hung up or whatever the case may be, we'll make sure we follow up on it. I know some people's got stuck in part of the on-ramping process, so we may need the on-ramp provider, which I think most of the ones I've seen were Halliday, but we may need the on-ramp providers to give those a poke. So obviously we'll follow up with them as well once the bridge is back up and running properly. So we are following up on it instead, trying to keep up with it and stay on top of it. And we'll keep you guys up to date. All right. With that, we are now officially going into our wrap up for the day. As always, thank you all for being here. Thank you to everybody who's listening live and those who will tune in later. Special shout out to everybody who submitted questions for us to answer. Keep the questions coming. You can submit your questions in the AMA questions channel in Discord. Thank you, Hubert, Winston, and Dreamer, for being up here with us and answering all of these questions. And shout out also to everybody who is fighting in this tournament. We're in this final with Slick Bruce and Just Have Fun, aka Hope. And it's looking to be a pretty good match here. Slick Bruce is Bruce. Is it Bruce? I think it is Bruce. Slick Bruce is maybe a little bit behind, but not by much. I would say he's got the mana advantage, but a slight health disadvantage. But barriers also help protect from status effects. So it's going to be an interesting finish to this match. Make sure you tune in and check it out. With that, I am going to go. Let's see, Hubert, any final thoughts that you would like to share?
Just kind of my usual thanks to everybody for all your continued support. We wouldn't be here without you guys, and we still have a lot of things that we are looking to put out and whatnot. So like the game is still very much alive, and we'd like to keep it that way. So please keep supporting us, and we will do our best.
Very nice, very nice. Dreamer, I know you got a storm rolling in, so we'll go to you next and then finish with Winston. Dreamer, any final thoughts?
Yeah, hopefully you guys can hear me. It's pouring really hard over here. But maybe the mic's drowning it out.
You hear it a little bit, but not bad. Just some soft white noise in the background.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been loving watching the fights. Appreciate all the questions. Every once in a while we're like, man, should we be pushing these AMAs every other week? But you guys show up and ask questions, and we play games together and hang out. So really appreciate everybody's, passion, follow through, and support. This is a very, very interesting space that we're in. There's a comment in here saying, a lot of people are shifting their focus from crypto to other markets. They've done that in the past as well. And maybe some of the new markets popping up will integrate into blockchain tech and they will merge as one. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. But a lot of the future depends on what we choose to believe in and push through. So we're choosing to believe in gaming. We're choosing to believe in ourselves. And we're hoping to find the right solutions and capital and connections and communities to help us with that. And that's the best that we can do. So thanks for coming another week. Thanks for playing. Thanks for supporting and understanding and giving your own opinions on how we navigate this.
Awesome. Thank you, Dreamer. Winston, last but not least, any final thoughts? And then sign off is yours.
Sweet. Yeah, thanks, Bolon. Just thanks to everybody for playing with us, and thanks for hanging out and being a part of this community. And it's It's always a little bit hazy, and then we kind of figure things out and work our way through it and on to the next thing. So that's kind of where we are now. We're in that weird hazy spot, and we're just gonna right through it. Thank you specifically to the fighters and people who are joining tournaments. I'm having a lot of fun rewarding everybody for doing that. Yeah, let me know if you have any ideas about other tournaments you'd like to see or stuff like that. And this community is always coming through for us, and that has kept me very bullish.
Bullish.
Bullish. Thanks,
Thank you,
everybody.
everyone. We'll see you next week.